That one was really important. I feel like I had to win to get the chance next race in Salt Lake City. So I had a rough start of the day. I had a pretty big crash in practice and I hit my head pretty hard. And I was actually fine. I got pretty lucky with the crash, and the heat race was pretty bad, but I had a great start. And my first couple of laps was great in the main event, and I was like, okay, I feel good on the track. Also with the bike was working pretty good in the main event. So I was like, yeah, I have to do it. So I felt great, and we could make it happen tonight.
Congrats, Tom. We're so glad you're okay after that qualifying crash. We'll open it up to questions from the media. Michael.
Thanks, Haley. Michael Antonovich with Course Heading. We'll stick with you, Tom. Can you take us through the last few weeks, really going back to Foxborough? Because you go into that race with the points lead, whatever happens on that Saturday night in the mud, East Rutherford, Philadelphia, and then to rebound tonight. As a multi-time champion that knows how things go, how have you stayed positive through these last few weeks with some big crashes, especially like you had today?
Yeah, the last 3 races have been pretty tough. I lost a lot of points in Foxborough. I think it was really a bummer because there was 2 laps to go. I could have maybe have 22 points lead and I went to 1. So it was actually really a bummer. And the one in Philly, it was pretty tough. I had also a big crash in I think it was a heat race. And I just had to keep on training during the week, and I stayed strong, and I really tried to believe in myself. And I know I can do it, and I felt great tonight, so I could bounce back. I think the start was important. I feel like Seth and RGA start always in front of me the last 2-3 races, and tonight I could start in front of them, and that's helped a lot.
And as stated, Tom, of course, taking back control of that points lead. Dan Beaver.
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports. Sticking with Tom for a moment. It's kind of important that you've got these 2 guys on the podium with you. Now you're going into the East-West shootout for the last race. Possibly getting some of the West guys in between you and the other people. How were you aware of where you were, where the other riders were, and where the points were shaking out when you went around, Nate?
I've actually, to be honest, I've seen Seth during the race in the Supercross triple. I looked to the right and he was in the other rhythm, so I knew he was a little far back. And I was like, yeah, I need to stay on the bike. And Nate was really good through the whoops. He was skimming them, so I feel like he was a little bit faster there, and then I was catching in a few other sections on the track. So it was hard to get close to him. And I feel like I was getting a little bit better in those whoops, so the gap was a little closer every lap, and I felt great during the last 5 laps. And I could make the pass, and I didn't really know where RJ was. I couldn't really see him. But I've seen Seth during the during the main event that he was a little bit far back, so I feel like I didn't win any main event this year yet, so far, so that one feels really good.
Mitch
Kendra with Racetracks. We'll go to Max on this one. Obviously, you mentioned the first career podium and the weight off your shoulders. Just walk us through everything you went through that injury last year. I think it was January. Just the road to come back, dealing with the leg injury, the handbrake, just all the struggles we know you went through. Can you just walk us through some of that and how good it feels to be able to finally say, hey, I did it, and just finally able to be back up here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was such a long road for me coming out of the hospital, and with the injury, the hip dislocation, and then having the sciatic nerve problem, and losing pretty much all feeling in my foot, and also mobility as well. And it was such a long road, and I went through so many ups and downs, and there's a lot of days when I was in the midst of the injury where I didn't even know if I'd ever be able to race again. But then the handbrake kind of became an idea, and I just kind of ran with it, and we went through so many different variations of it, and it finally got to the point where I was able to ride at a decent level, and then we went racing with it at the beginning of the season, and that system ended up not working, and I was having problems with it, and I wasn't finishing the races, and the bike wasn't making it, so we had to go to a new system. And then halfway through the season, Daytona was the first race I had on the new system, and kind of that was it. I was like, okay, yeah, this is solid enough to where I can do what I need to do, and just kind of build from there. And it's just been a slow, steady build, and we've been working hard at club, and just it's good to finally get that first podium and kind of get that monkey off the back, and just a lot of weight lifted off my shoulders.
Aaron
Durant with TableOver2.com. You covered a lot of it there, but we get to see all the highlights, on Saturdays when we all show up here. You're obviously riding well, system's working well at this point. But if you could touch a bit more on the mental side, I mean, there's a lot of bike rides we don't see. There's a lot of gym. There's a lot going on at club. How do you keep chasing this through all that mentally?
Yeah, honestly, the injury I felt like definitely made me a lot mentally stronger. Just overcoming, be able to ride at such a high level with the handbrake and everything, it kind of just gives me confidence in myself. I'm overcoming and achieving something that no one's done before. So I kind of just kept running with that and just it's like I said, it's been a steady build, but low key's just been under the radar, and finally just decided to show up tonight and make it happen.
Jim.
Jim Kimball with Motocross Action for Tom. Tom, talking for a minute again about that crash. It looked like you were injured and your bike was severely beaten up. How were you able to kind of put that in your rear view mirror and be so on it for the main event?
Yeah, I kind of made a mistake myself. I went on the inside and tried to triple, and the jump was a little longer than I expected, so I had a pretty, I mean, once you kiss the triple, like, there's not much you can do, and I got lucky, to be honest. Like, I landed pretty good. I hit my head pretty hard, and I was like, my back was really bad. My bar was banged, and I couldn't do anything, so I just put up. I got lucky to have a good time in the first practice, so I still qualified, I think, 4th for the night show, so that was great. And I was lucky to be alright. I didn't feel anything on my neck, on my back, on my shoulder was fine, so I could ride great for the night show.
Sir.
Billy Rainford from Direct Motocross. Let's go to Nate here. Nate, that's got to be one that got away on you there, man. You got the whole shot, you led, man, like the last minute you got past. Take us through the race from your perspective and how you're feeling about that night.
Yeah, I was just trying to execute, the best I could out front. It's tough. I knew they were there, and I kind of pulled away a little bit in the middle part of the race there when we ran into lappers, and it kind of yo-yoed, and then he started closing in a little bit, and I was just trying to hit the loops as good as I could, and then just trip the rest of the track. I couldn't really tell where he was catching me at. Just being out front, and sometimes you want to be in the second spot there, because then you can kind of know when to push on the jumps a little bit harder, or hit this turn a little bit better. But he rode great, and when he got around me, I kind of did a spun out there before that on and off, and he was hitting that inside up at the top, and he got quite a bit closer there and was able to make the pass.
Sir.
Matt Williamson, MXP Mag. Questions for Maximus. So good job today. You covered it with Mitch earlier, but what's the mood at the truck? I mean, your team is no stranger to being up there this year. How does that feel to be among the greats within Club MX?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just good to give back to them for all the hard work that we've done in the off season. I definitely made them do a lot of work with figuring out the handbrake and all that. So it's good just to give that back to them, and it's a great feeling to be my first career podium, their second podium this year, and it's also just shows that the work that we've been putting in is starting to pay off, and our bike's good, we're in a good spot, it's fast, the suspension works great, so we just study build, we just try to be 1% better every day.
Adam.
Adam from Track Talkers. This one's for Tom Vialle. A little bit of a tough question, but we've been talking a lot on the podcast. You're really in this title fight right now, like big time. If you win this title, you have to move up to 450, and you have to deal with a 450 ride. What's your thoughts on this whole situation?
Yeah, I'd be happy to move to 450 if I win the title.
There you go.
I feel like I have no other choice. Like, that's the way I've been riding a little bit 450 lately, and I feel pretty good on it. So I would have to move.
I mean, the question is, are you sticking with KTM, or would you be looking for other rides?
No, right now, I mean, still nothing is decided yet, but I would like, staying. I've been with KTM since so many years, so I think it's an easy way to move on the same bike, 450, if I win the title, so that would be the plan.
Yeah, it was a lot of, away, especially after last weekend, was a bit of a defeat, right? So it's been a good week, but a long week. Whenever you have bad races like that, it's a long 7 days, and yeah, it was getting to a point where we needed to do something, and I was definitely able to execute in that main event. Got the whole shot and was able to sustain the pressure from Chase the whole time, which wasn't easy. There was a lot going on. The track was tricky. It was one where it could catch you off guard if you kind of wanted to catch a flow, at least for me. And lappers were tricky, and just trying to change lines as the track broke down was tough. And yeah, very happy with my main. Rode very solid, consistent, and yeah, much needed win for sure.
Congratulations, Cooper. Webb, open it up to questions from the media. Scott.
Scott Arjo, Moto Now. Chase, why start jumping the whoops?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw them, but they were pretty mangled, and it took a lot of energy to jump, or to skim, I mean. So I just, one of those things where I wanted to see if I could run this similar speed jumping them, and kind of just save myself a little bit. It was, like I said, it was hard to skim. It took a lot of effort, and they were just really sketchy. I feel like I could have maybe got through them all main event, skimming them and not crashing, but you're running that risk of having a big one with the loose like that. So I started jumping. I made that one mistake. I was following Coop, jumping him, and when he got on the gas, roosted the crap out of me, and I just couldn't see anything and jumped off the track, basically. So other than that, I feel like I was pretty good at them. And then once I got a flow doing it, I feel like it was just as fast. You kind of had to figure out how to do it. So just one of those things, a risk versus reward, and if you can get away with it the whole main event.
Michael.
Thanks, Haley. Michael Antonovich with course heading. This will be for Cooper and then Chase. Can you guys talk us through what you felt like was your moment of the race? Chase, you just took us through the mistake where the gap kind of blew back up and then you reeled it back in again. And then Coop, did you know that the gap went like that? Was there a moment that you thought you had this thing greased and it was over, and then Chase for you to reel it back in? Was there a point that you guys thought, like, I got it or I lost it?
No, not until the checker came. Yeah, I saw his mistake and I tried to capitalize and do a couple good ones, and that was my one mistake because I missed the one rhythm, the on-off around the same time a few laps after that. So I was trying to get away when he made that mistake, but he was able to recapitalize really quick and run a few tenths faster and got right back. So it was tough. I mean, it's always hard when you're out front. You don't really see where you're losing or gaining, but you were also in a situation that I think it was a little bit difficult to pass tonight, and I knew that. So just trying to ride consistent laps, and honestly, the lappers too were a little tough tonight. Like, they were getting out of the way, but we would catch them very quick, and there wasn't much they could do because of the ruts and stuff like that. So kind of managing them was honestly difficult, especially the one rhythm that was that 2-3-3 had a really bad kicker, and like you're jumping beside some guys that they're a little tight doing it. So but yeah, no, I didn't think until the checker flag came out, I didn't think I was safe. I was just trying to click as best as I could.
Yeah, for me, I think like I said, I had that one mistake, but I was able to kind of regroup and catch him again. I didn't feel like I had really good speed. It was just more, and when he got that whole shot, I knew it was going to be hard to pass, and I knew the whoops were going to be a big part. And yeah, it was tough. So the track was hard to really push on it because you would lose the rear law. Coop lost it a few times. I lost it behind him. So yeah, lappers were tough, like he said. He probably had the worst of it just because he is out front. But yeah, it wasn't easy. I feel like we lapped the same guys 2 or 3 times, which is crazy. So yeah, tough track. And for me, I feel like I rode well. I just couldn't get close enough to make a pass.
Sir.
Aaron Durant with TableOver2.com for Justin. We noticed at one point that you were the first one to dip under the 48s in that race. So was there, were you just finding yourself in a groove, or was there a certain part of the track you felt you were getting extra right or anything?
Yeah, I was just feeding off the heat race, obviously. Didn't get the best of starts, which is a little disappointing. I got shuffled around and was probably 5th or 6th, and had to pass AP and then had a good battle with Kenny going back and forth. So yeah, it took me a little bit to get into the 3rd place position, and then kind of locked in on those 2 out front, and felt like I was just kind of maintaining the gap and really couldn't feel like I wasn't closing in. So I gave it a good effort, and yeah, I just didn't really, I feel like, adapt after halfway to the newer lines that were forming. I felt like I kept taking the more beat up lines, and it was definitely hurting me a little bit, so I started searching. But yeah, by then it was in that mid race, I kind of had a slump and lost the toe and just was in kind of no man's land from there.
Adam.
Adam from Track Talkers. This one's for Chase. I watched you in first practice. You looked really good. Second practice, felt like maybe you missed a couple hot laps that you could have got back. Heat race kind of struggled a little bit, right? Yes or no? Okay, and then in the main event, I felt like, okay, we're back in it. Were we searching bike setup? Were we searching line choice? Was it something where you just couldn't find your flow? Tonight, looking back on it, what could you have done to get that win?
Yeah, I mean, in practice, I felt like I was riding well, but I feel like I was fast, one, because I was good in the loops, but I didn't feel like I had my turns today that I needed, and in the heat race, I came back, I'm like, man, I don't even know if I know how to ride a dirt bike anymore. I just got beat by 15 seconds in a six minute race, so I was able to regroup, but I just, I was just struggling really in my turns and for traction tonight. I think, obviously, that was it for a lot of guys, but I just didn't have the greatest feeling. So I feel like I really rode well in the main event. I think that was the best I rode all day. Obviously, I needed it because Coop got the whole shot, so I was forced to ride good. But I think in the main event, I came back and rode well. Like I said, it was one of those tracks where you couldn't override it, and it could bite you really fast. So it was just one of those things, finding that limit, and
Was it bike setup that you were working on, that you were looking for more traction, or was that something you were just missing a line or two?
I don't know. The dirt was tricky because it reminded me a lot of New Jersey, or was it Foxborough back in the day before they got that new dirt. It's kind of like, not gray, but it's like a little bit pebbly, and also it gets really soft in some of the transitions, like that one rhythm section after the start straight. That thing was really soft, and then the rest of the track was hard as a rock. So it was kind of a hard thing going back and forth on if I'm too soft, too stiff, and it was you kind of needed both tonight, and that's kind of what we struggled with.
Trey Steyer, freelance. My question is for Cooper Webb. Tonight you became the 8th different rider in history to win 30 career 450 Supercross main events. What does it mean to you not only to go wire to wire, but to also put your name up there with greats like McGrath, Reed, Carmichael?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still a long ways from those guys, but it feels awesome, man, to be just a young kid from North Carolina with dreams of being a pro dirt bike racer, and to get 30 450 main event wins is it's pretty crazy. You know, I think us racers, as we're in it, we take it for granted, but it really is super special when you start looking at that stuff.
Jim.
Jim Kimball with Motocross Action for Cooper Webb. Cooper, now with the series moving more west, how are you feeling about these last 2 rounds?
Yeah, I feel good. I think for me, I like elevation. You know, I think they're football stadiums, which I enjoy. I've had great success at Salt Lake, and obviously last year was with my thumb was tough to do Colorado, but I've always enjoyed going to Denver. I enjoy racing there. So yeah, we're gonna do the best we can. I feel like we'll all make some changes for the altitude that will help, and the bike will be great there. And yeah, I'm excited, man. Like I said, it's coming down to the wire, so it's gonna be important to execute these last 2 and do the best we can. And yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I think it'll be 2 good rounds for me.